tough. He's played through a lot of nicks and things here in the last in the 2 seasons I've been with him. So I would expect if he can go at all, he's going to be ready to go. You know, that's just the kind of player he is.
What do you expect him to practice tomorrow or this week?
I think he's day to day at this point, so I haven't had any updates today, but hopefully we can get him Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's the goal.
We thought, we thought it might have been a concussion. How big of a relief? Fred said that wasn't the case.
No.
It was the shoulder. How big of a, not that you want a shoulder here, but how big
Right.
of a relief?
Huge relief. You know, I mean, obviously, anytime a guy has a head injury, you know, I mean, any injury, you get worried for him and everything, but the head obviously is something that we get concerned about. And then, you know, obviously, coming back from an injury like that, that could be an extended period of time. So, for his sake and our sake, we were really happy that it wasn't had anything to do with his head.
It looked like he's kind of changed his arm slot a couple times there in the second half. Is that a result?
I think so. I think he was sore, you know, and again, he's going to stay out there, compete, and play. But absolutely, he changed, you know, the level of his throwing motion there a little bit. I think he was compensating for some pain he was feeling.
He obviously had a rough game with the turnover. Fewest yards he's thrown for about 100 yards. So how do you think he's doing?
You know, he's disappointed like the rest of us. You know, it's you know, I've said this before. You know, you put your heart and soul into each and every week. Every game's different, and he had played really well a couple weeks in a row, and we were feeling really good about the plan and feeling good about him. And you know, we're a 10-10 game. You know, 17-10 game at the half, and then in the third quarter we just we had a meltdown, you know, and obviously he contributed to that. We all contributed to that, but he's not happy, obviously. And you know, again, the best thing you can do in these situations is get back on the field and practice and get ready and play a game. So hopefully we can get him back out there soon, and he can kind of get rid of that taste in his mouth.
He held the ball a few times, maybe 7 times, and hadn't had protection. Were they just on your receivers? What was going on with that?
You know, I think some of them were. I think there's a little bit to go around. I think he could have got rid of the ball a few times. You know, I think there was chances to throw the ball with guys coming into windows and in open areas that he missed, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. And then a couple times, you know, we had guys with tight coverage, and I think sometimes I think you get used to guys being wide open or whatever it is, and in this league, sometimes they're not going to be wide open. A lot of times they're not. You got to throw them open, and you got to put the ball in the right spot. And I think that he didn't do that a few times, and we got too tight a coverage a couple times, and you know, at the end of the day, we got to get the ball out.
You guys, if you're not running the ball, so we get things going. So was it running backs not finding holes, holding out there? What did you see on the field?
You know, I think there was a couple runs we missed, but I think at the end of the day, I think we didn't hold up physically like we thought we were going to. I thought South Carolina did a really good job. I thought they played extremely well. They played physical. They played fast. There wasn't a lot of room in there. We missed a couple cuts, yes, but overall, I think they were the more physical football team.
I think Alabama's defense and how tough it was going to be to run.
They're going to be tough to run it on. They're extremely talented. They're you know, they're well coached. You know, nobody's really running on them at all. It's going to be a huge challenge, and we're going to have to get creative with some of the things we do with them. You know, in the pass game and in the run game. So we'll have to pull out all the stops and get creative and try to gain advantages and gain a gap here and there if we can. And but they're really talented and really well coached, and that's a bad combination for their opponents.
Just given what Alabama's done and the struggles from last week, just how do you convince your offense that you can win a game Saturday?
Well, if we don't believe we can win every week, I don't know if I want to coach them. You know, I can tell you that. I mean, I don't think there's anybody in this program that doesn't feel that we can't win every game we step into, and this is no different. I mean, when you're a competitor and you're an athlete, that really never crosses your mind. I mean, not anybody that I've ever coached has ever gone into a game thinking that they weren't going to win. So, you know, like I said, hopefully we got 100% guys on board with that. I know our coaches and the players I met with yesterday feel that way.
And the turnovers
Yeah, well, the first one was just a terrible play. It was just bad. He was trying to make a play. He's throwing across his body late. Things we don't do. We don't make a blind throw. We never throw the ball late over the middle, and he did both of those. Those are two of our rules that we have. And then the strip sack fumbles, we didn't pass the twist off. Pass protection 101, and then Cole's turnover at the end. He hitched on a throw. We're not supposed to hitch on that, so the ball was late. So if you hitch, you don't throw it. And he hitched, and again, that's a young guy making a big mistake. I was really disappointed to have him make that mistake, because other than that, he played pretty flawless, when he was in there. But young guy making a mistake. And then the second play of the game was just a guy trying to move the ball from one arm to the other. He can't do that. You got to catch it and secure it, and can't win the game. I mean, one of our keys to victory was no turnovers on the road, and obviously we didn't even come close to accomplishing that. So it's addressed every day. We harp on turnovers in this program more than any program I've ever been in, and we'll continue to coach that way.
Yeah, I want to go deeper on Cole. You said that was pretty much the only mistake he made. Can you evaluate what you saw from him in there?
Yeah, he played outstanding. He had the one big mistake, which is when you're the quarterback, it gets magnified, but loved his pocket posture, his presence, loved the way his accuracy. I loved the way he was moving around in the pocket, took off and ran, won the design run, and one sort of a design run, and put the ball in the right spot, and made a big throw for a touchdown, and just ran the team. Was very, very confident, very poised, and was communicating very well, and loved a lot of things he did. Loved his interaction on the sidelines, his confidence, and did it, like I said, without, you take that play out, he played pretty dang well.
You got the ball T.J. Hammonds a couple times. Brett made it sound like maybe you wanted to do it more if you got stepped up.
Yeah, he had an injury in practice and missed a little bit, and so we were a little cautious, but yeah, we did. We got it to him a couple times, and wish we could have got it to him a couple more, but as the game got out of hand, we had to change what we're doing a little bit, you know what I mean? And certainly he'll be in the plans this week and as we move forward.
You got a catch from Brandon Martin, too. Is he elevated and so?
Yep, he's had a good week or two of practice, and we expect him to have, hopefully if he has another good week this week, he'll get more playing time, and we're starting to get to a point where we feel comfortable putting him in, and he made a nice catch, and got hit and hang on to the ball, and all those good things. So hopefully we can see him continue to make some steps.
When you're trying to evaluate what Cole Kelly did, I mean, among fans, even some of the media, there's been all kinds of speculation. He was just performing his care. They had their drags in there. They weren't trying to stop him. It was a totally different situation. You know their personnel. You know what situation he's in. How would you evaluate his performance based on the fact that he's clearly not going up against the same guys that Austin faced maybe in the first half?
Yeah, they still had some starters in there in the game during that time. They were still running their blitz packages. We saw several blitzes while he was in there, so it wasn't like they just gave up. I think that's totally inaccurate. And he's a freshman playing in this league, and I don't care who he plays against. They're pretty good. We don't get caught up like, well, that doesn't count because he's a second-string player. So we just evaluate him on what he did and how he did it, and obviously it wasn't in the first quarter. I know that, but the guy can't control that. He can control how he plays when he goes in there, and he did a really good job. And it's something for him to build on, and it's going to pay dividends as he goes into his career, that he's getting into games like that and situations like that, having to run a 2-minute drill, having to be coming out on his own 1-yard line and move the ball out, having to throw an interception and come back on the field, and how do you respond in that situation? All those things, you can't get those sitting in a meeting room. All those experiences, the pressure, the communication, the bouncing back, the adversity, those are all things that come from playing the game. So every rep that he gets, in my opinion, is an investment on his future.
The first half when you guys had short yardage, you didn't put Cole into the scheme, but was that just something more about what Carolina did defensively, or
No, we just, obviously we don't want to become a team that just every time we're in short yardage, we get into one thing. We want to obviously stay balanced and stay multiple, and we're going to continue to use different personnel groupings in all those situations.
Austin's taken quite a few hits over the past 2 years. At any point, do you think that's taken a toll on him mentally?
I think I can't speak for him, but I think for any quarterback, it's a certain point, yeah, I think it does. I haven't seen that with Austin. I've seen a guy that's just courageous and tough and hangs in there. I mean, some of those hits are on him because he won't throw the ball away because he's trying to make a play all the time. And again, there's a fine line there as a quarterback coach of coaching that out of guys. You know what I mean? You don't want to take their competitiveness away and their ability to want to make every play last, but he does have to get smarter in the fact that when plays aren't there, he needs to diagnose that a little bit sooner, a tick or two sooner, and get the ball out of his hands and throw it away. And I think he can eliminate some of those hits he's taken.
And from a personnel standpoint about Bama, I think a couple of linebackers have been hurt. Sean Hand got hurt. I don't know if they're coming back or what, but what do you see from their personnel?
They're still very, very good. I mean, all the guys I see, even when earlier in the season when all those guys were healthy, their backups, these guys were all playing, and they play at a very high level. They've got a ton of depth. They've got pass rushers. They've got D tackles that play their gaps very, very well and don't get moved. They've got outstanding guys in the secondary. They're very well coached. They're very multiple in what they do in the coverages that they show you. So there's, you know, to me, there's not a lot of drop off. You know, I know that Hand is an outstanding player, but they've got other ones too. I mean, 94's in there, and 69, and there's a bunch of them. You know, they're very, very talented. 33's been, and 30's been very, very. Both those guys been very impressive, moving around. Secondary, like I said, is extremely well coached and very physical. They're just a physical team. They're big, lower body guys that play with great power and don't get moved around a lot, and they're not out of position very often.
Any calculation?
Pardon me?
Development of Randy Martin on that, he a little bit. How did you evaluate him?
He played well when he was in there. He made a big catch in traffic, got hit. You know, that was encouraging. He had a good week of practice, and hopefully this can springboard him ahead and get him some more time. He needs to have another good week this week, and then we'll go from there.
The last one, talked about their DBs being kind of clutchy, grabby. Are they physical again?
Yes, they're a very physical group. I mean, I think that's kind of one of their trademarks. I think Coach Saban and their defensive staff does a great job of, you know, those guys don't give you, there's not a lot of free throws. You don't get a lot of free yards, if you will, you know, with off coverages and things like that. You got to earn everything you get. They're tremendously physical. They're physical in the run game. They're physical on bubbles and wide receiver screens. And then obviously, when you're running routes, you got to do a good job of releasing and getting off not only off the line, but off of your second level releases too, off some of their nickel guys and things like that. They do a really good job.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.